Welcome to Red and Fist Bump. I'm MJ here with
Big Dog D.
the Big Dog D. And MJ is to you from Las Vegas in reality. And the Big Dog D is still in places unknown. On today's show, we're going to explore the potentially lucrative side gig of performing a prostitute puppetry show on the Las Vegas Strip to keep in line with the Las Vegas theme. Keeping it raw, relevant, and random. Boom! Let's jump right in, baby. Looks like I'm coming a little low, but that's fine. I'll fix it a little. How are you doing today, Big Dog D?
I am doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm in Las Vegas. I'm heading over to the Sphere tomorrow to check it out. I haven't seen what's inside that one big ball.
I've heard it's pretty spectacular.
I'm going to find out, and I will report back. And also, I'm thinking of maybe heading over to the Gangster Museum. Haven't been there either.
All right. Yeah,
So
I've
on
heard
today's...
that Mobster Museum is like about $30-$35. I've heard it's a decent time. $35 a person or so.
We'll see if it's worth it or not. So, on today's show, I did a little more consultation with our friend ChatGPT, being a little shameless. And I asked it to generate some information for me about different ideas to make money on the Las Vegas Strip. And it came up with some pathetic ideas, so I thought I would spice it up a little. But what's fascinating is, which I think this is a learning experience also for our viewers, is that I also pumped in some information into this site called Flow GPT, which is an uncensored GPT. For example, on our first tip of how to create a hooker puppet show on ChatGPT, it said something that I don't even know where it came up with this. It said, "The misadventures of glitter and grit. Follow the comedic yet poignant journey of glitter and grit, two puppet characters who work strip as they navigate misadventures that satirize misconceptions and highlight the human side of their profession." Now, notice, of course, what it didn't do. It doesn't say that they're a bunch of street walking hookers.
Okay. Were you expecting it to say explicitly street hose?
No, and look at the names they give to these street hoes: glitter and grit. Glitter.
What is it supposed to say? Gaping, willing hole?
Is there any prostitute that ever named themselves Glitter or Grit?
Well, I think, stripper names, Destiny, Dynasty, April, Fantasy, all, Chocolate Delight, Asian Surprise. There's all sorts of names that they throw out there, as long as it sounds friendly and welcoming. Glitter sounds nice.
Glitter sounds nice.
I don't know.
Glitter. I don't know. Glitter. I don't know.
And keep
glitter.
in mind, you're saying it in an absolute statement. Imagine, a woman named Glitter is a size 1 or 0, and she's wearing the Ho and Home Record dress, and she's got everything popping out. All of a sudden, Glitter doesn't seem like such a bad name. You're just thinking about it when you're reading it off a list, but you got to picture that hot ass street hoe who's coming up to you, and then you're like, "Hey, Glitter, what's up, mama?"
So let's get deep into the information of teaching someone
getting deep. That's
so
the
if you're
point, getting deep.
So if you're out of work and you need to make some money, maybe you head on over to the Las Vegas Strip or Fremont Street and do something original. A puppet show. You don't need to be Jeff Dunham. A large theater with thousands of fans. The sea lions clapping. Good job. You can have your own legion of fans right on the Strip.
What are you saying? Are you saying that you're getting a group of Johns right on the Strip? I'm trying to understand what you mean.
No, what I'm saying is that you're busking. You're doing puppetry busking, just like there's a magician or a guy playing a ukulele. A bunch of guys that are doing breakdancing on the Strip. You could have your own adult-oriented show. Doing prostitution puppetry.
So if someone was trying to act out, I guess, a pornographic scene with like, "Hey, mama, you looking mighty cute in them high heels. Oh, my goodness. What are you saying?" And then all of a sudden you just start to do the whole, you're saying like do some kind of a pornographic puppet show
So
What
let's
are
go
you
through the
saying?
advice that AI. Let's see what AI tells us to do. AI it starts off with number one, and I always ask it to rank from the worst ideas to the best. So we'll see if they're any good or not. So number one, it says the Prince of Pleasure. That means a satirical take on the world of prostitution, where puppets represent types of clients and prostitutes engaging in various acts. The audience can interact by selecting which characters they want to see more of, or even influence the outcome of scenarios. Now, I'm sure this is going to work
Hmm.
well on Las Vegas Strip. I think they're trying to make that more family friendly, but so that might be a little misleading. I don't think you could have this type of hooker puppet show on Las Vegas Strip. I think you actually have to do it maybe on
Oh,
Fremont.
really? What about that whole gay pop thing that was going on at a family-friendly drag thing in Tampa? There were naked men and women walking around the place. You're saying you couldn't do a couple of puppet shows, sock fucking the hell out of each other? Really?
Yeah, but there's a big difference.
What
There's
do you mean? Yeah,
money.
the big difference is some 8-inch schlonger in your face for real versus, two cotton socks over someone's hands just acting suggestive and silly. I mean, sure, it's going to be
The
dirty,
difference
but
here, there's money at stake. There's some Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce, and they don't want to have this crap on the strip. They want to make it seem family friendly
oh,
as
on the
you,
strip, you mean? Well, it could happen downtown.
yeah,
Fremont Street
downtown,
is
yeah, yeah,
definitely gritty.
yeah. You could just go get one of those busking circles and get your puppets. Remember, I told you, I think it was the other day, that when I was on Fremont Street, unwittingly and naively, with the kids, and then we bolted the hell out of there maybe about 5 years ago. They had some guy had like a 7 foot fake schlong on with the tip of it with Donald Trump's head on.
Okay.
That was that was on Fremont, so anything goes there.
Yeah, Fremont is free of a whole lot of rules, that's for sure.
So this first tip we're talking about, this is very interesting. Is that basically you have puppets, and first of all, this has been. Well, this made me think of. You ever see that Team America by the same people who
Fuck
made South
yeah.
Park?
America.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. So I mean, there were puppets, albeit with
Marietta kind of, yeah.
yeah, marionette
Marionette, yeah.
puppets,
Marionette,
and
that's
I
what it
gotta
is.
tell you, that was funny as hell. So if you haven't
It
seen it,
was funny.
you haven't seen it, you have to go see Team America. It's shockingly funny, and you have puppets doing the bump and grind with no body parts. So
Was it done by the guys from South Park, I think?
I think I said it was the South Park guys. So I
Yeah.
said you could do the same thing on Las Vegas Strip. And you could have either marionettes, you could have hand puppets, you could have ventriloquist dummies, and they don't even have any body parts.
Yeah, I guess it'll take some dexterity and some practice for you to really ram it on home and do all sorts of funky
You said
stuff, but I'm sure
you said ram.
I did say ram it on home, you know?
Question is, if you have the busking hat out, are people going to put in money into the busking after they see this very strange puppet show?
I think if people are entertained by it, especially considering you're on Fremont Street, people are expecting this degenerate stuff. You've got guys who are, Chippendales guys who are half naked posing, women who are in nun outfits with tape X's over their nipples, wearing these outfits, and people are paying to get fake whipped. So I don't think that this would be totally out of line. It might be a little more suggestive, but we are talking about puppets and not actual people. So
That is
I
true.
think there might be room for it.
Yeah, you see like cartoons like Family Guy and to a lesser degree The Simpsons, where they put in the most subversive stuff, but it's okay because it's all cartoons. It's not real people.
You can certainly get away with a lot more stuff, no doubt about it.
So let's go to tip number two: the dark side of desire. A dark and twisted puppet show that explores the seedy underbelly of the Las Vegas Strip. The performance could feature life-size puppets depicting explicit interactions between hookers and their clients. The audience can participate by offering suggestions for the next scene or even controlling the actions of certain puppets. Now, what I see that's interesting with this suggestion, that even the AI has its limitations, that's suggesting the audience can control the puppets, but they don't have them going to the next level, actually participating in the puppet debauchery.
Hmm. Wait, so who's not participating?
I'm saying the way that it has the all participating is one of the things that I actually asked it. So garbage in, garbage out. Or the AI just gives you whatever it wants. So I asked it, give me some tips for making a money making hooker show on the Las Vegas Strip to see what it came up with, and I also asked it, what tips you can also include to provide some audience participation. Why? Because if you're going to make a show that you're going to make more money probably if you get the audience involved. And so basically, I think they did. I think what the AI did is it's still trying to fight its woke programming because the participation involves them controlling the puppet, but them not being involved in the actual acts, I guess,
I
of
see.
puppet. Yes.
Just to recap, also, I believe this might be our third or fourth consecutive show with a hoe. Just saying. I think we're good. We're starting a
We're,
theme here.
we're having a bad we're having a bad
Yeah, it should be
we're having a bad team.
random pimp bump or something. I don't know. Maybe we have to rename the show. It's going to be. This is show number 4.
Listen,
For our
the whole point
audience,
of
we're becoming hoe experts.
Listen, the whole point of going live is that you don't even know where the hell we're. You don't
You
even
say
know where we're going.
the whole point or the whole point?
The whole point. What I'm thinking to do for a future show is to have one of these roulette wheels with just different topics, and we just have it spin, and whichever one it lands on is the show we just do today.
Even if we land on the same one, or are we going to remove the topic? What if we just happen?
No, we're gonna remove the topic. Yeah, once we do the topic, it's gone, obviously. But we just click.
If we were spinning the wheel, one might think that 9 out of the 10 options are hoes on our wheel today this month.
No, we might put one that just says like dog shit on it, and then basically, oh crap, now we have to talk about dog shit for 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. We might put it like how like on one of those wheels of fortune, they basically have you lose, bankrupt, lose everything.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be like the topic dog shit.
Okay.
Yeah, which equal to.
Well, we can see if we can make a less shitty show about dog shit.
I'm sure we could talk about a half hour, about people who are, people who clean up their dog crap, when their dog poops on the street, and I'm sure
I used to fake grab for it and then realized, oh, I don't have a bag, even though I knew I walked out of the house. This was a long time ago before I was, before I found it despicable behavior. Now obviously I clean up, but back in the day, I would do the fake grab, like, oh my goodness, like kind of like the person who forgot their wallet at the restaurant and someone else had to pay. That would be me with the dog, like, oh my goodness, I didn't know he was going to take.
I was going to say that's not a positive mock confession.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm not proud of it, and I've since changed my ways. And anyone, when you go out there, bring a doggy bag. Your animal's going to maybe take a dump, so don't be unprepared. Don't be that guy.
Okay, so I think we should move on to number 3. Number 3 right. Here. Number 3 is Puppet Palace of Pleasure, a more traditional. Look at this. It says a more traditional puppet show.
Wow.
That incorporates themes of prostitution and debauchery. I don't know what's more traditional about a puppet show that's including prostitution and debauchery. The storyline can revolve around a group of puppets who run a brothel or engage in risque behavior on the strip. The audience could interact by throwing coins on the stage to tip the performers.
Okay, yeah, that sounds more traditional. I mean, none of this topic is traditional, so it's interesting that it's using that terminology for something that's a bit bizarre.
But in a way, it is a clever. Let's say, watch clever suggestion, because Nevada is the only state in the U.S. that prostitution is legal, and there are actually brothels. So basically, it could be
outside of the city limits.
Yeah, it could be like the the Puppet Bunny Ranch, and.
But you wouldn't need to do a Puppet Bunny Ranch if it's not real pornography. At that point, isn't it just like an entertainment show? I mean, do you really need to be outside of the city limits for it to be? I mean, this is puppets. It's caricatures. Isn't it kind of like a peep show, but not even as bad? Are we disturbing you while we're doing our podcast? Do you need to take a break? Viewers, I'm sorry.
My phone was on silent. My phone was on silent, and basically somehow it started going haywire, so I had to go shut it off.
I said put it on Do Not Disturb, but apparently our viewers are not important enough for you. All right.
I put it on Do Not Disturb. Okay.
There we go.
And,
had to call you out on it, dude.
You were right to call me out on it. So you weren't wrong.
There we go.
But I was begging, just going with the flow and continuing, without saying anything. But then again, I guess since it's a video podcast, it's gonna be apparent like, what's MJ doing? He's just spacing out.
And
He's
if you
spacing
forgot,
out.
there's
What's
like
going on?
there's two of us here. So if you're like, sitting there rubbing one out or looking at your phone or whatever the hell you're doing over there, I'm just talking to myself. I'm like, hey, did you get what I understood? Oh no, what were you talking about while I was checking my phone messages? My pizza's here or something. I don't know, whatever the hell was going on over there. I even told you, do not put it on do not disturb. Oh, I put it on silent. Oh, okay.
This topic is not working out like I thought it would. Okay, I want to be clear about that.
That's fair enough. Maybe subconsciously this was your dog shit topic about puppet prostitution.
No, actually, I have a better topic for tomorrow. I have a better topic that I've been really. I think the problem with this topic is in a certain sense I'll be honest, I'm fighting my own instincts here. Is that I like the idea of it because it seems weird and bizarre, and I think there is some potential for someone to have what I call cross-pollination of creativity, to actually go out. I truly believe this, that someone can go on the strip. They don't have to do a wacko prostitution puppet show. But I think the point really of this is that there are unique things for someone. If you're out of work and you even have some skill, you can go out on the Las Vegas Strip, or maybe not as much anymore, but more like.
Isn't that what OnlyFans is for? I mean, you don't have to do like naked stuff.
But it's much harder.
People do fetish stuff too.
No, but it's much harder because if you're live in one of those circles where they have a busking circle on Fremont Street, you can instantly have a captive audience of people walking by. On OnlyFans, it's not a captive audience. You basically have to build an audience, and maybe they buy into what you're doing, maybe they're not. When someone's already in Las Vegas, they're walking around, they're having a good time, maybe they're half drunk, they see some guy with a Donald Trump 7-foot, penis with his head on the end, and they'll give the guy like $5 just because they hate Donald Trump's guts.
Yeah,
they're not gonna be able to do that on OnlyFans.
You forgot about one element here, and that's the human shame element. On one hand, it's hard enough that someone's got to go down that road, and now you're saying, do it in person, do it live, go on the street corner. At least with OnlyFans, you can sort of do it from the shame of your own house behind your own webcam.
They're not going to make any money that way. They're not going to make any money.
It may be slower, but at least what do you mean? OnlyFans people make a ton of money. If you're
a chick, 90% of the people are making money.
If you're a chick, yes, of course. And even if you're a guy, you'd have to do maybe.
If you're a dude, you better go down to a place you can go busk and make a little extra money. Do a little street magic.
All I'm saying is that not everybody is cut out for that immediate face-to-face interaction coming down, getting your performance bag on. You may be used to it. You're looking at it from a point where, if you're used to interacting with people, like people who do, in-person walking around magic and things like that. But a lot of people are not. They don't have the fortitude to sit out there and put themselves out there in person where someone can walk away and start laughing and make you feel, I think there's an element there. You're not maybe thinking.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
That's a tough road. It's a tough road, I think.
Let's be honest.
I think it's not possible. I'm just saying.
A year ago, we'll be doing some video podcast. Did we think about that? No, but we just had to jump in and just do it. Are we the greatest podcasters right now? We're working on it. But the fact is that if you just don't jump in and do something, what you're doing is essentially nothing. So just try something, do something.
I agree with you.
Throw the spaghetti against the wall, see if it sticks.
Is going out in public and doing that? I'm not sure many people. In fact, I think most people are unable to just go out there in public and engage in strangers for that kind of thing. I think that's a tough one for most people.
There's a limitation with a lot of sites that are out there. I think what's really happened is that what a person can offer of themselves is really the new side gig. So if you don't have any like hard skill, you might be able to develop some other skill of something you have. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Go do the puppet show. See if it works or not.
I guess the key is no matter what you do, try something.
Try something. The best thing you could do is fail and get haters. There's nothing worse than, it's worse than a hater? Irrelevance. is worse than not having
Ooh,
a hater.
deep.
It's better to have a hater than be irrelevant.
Mm.
Let's move on to number 4. Okay, as
All
long as
right,
so we
moving
can
along.
get through our 6.69. See what we did
Holy
there?
hell.
6.69 tips of
Jeez,
creating money making
there's
hooker
6 of
puppet
these?
show
Oh, boy.
on the Las Vegas Strip. I think it's a little misleading. It should be Fremont Street, but people don't know Fremont. They know Las Vegas. So too bad. I'm keeping Las Vegas in the title. Too bad. I think I like this next one. It's a little bizarre. It's called Puppet Pimpin', a comedy-infused puppet show that follows the misadventures of a pimp and his stable of prostitutes. The audience can participate in providing suggestions for new jokes or even becoming part of the performance themselves. I don't know what that means, becoming part of the performance, but I think that could be a very sticky situation if that goes
Gross.
down. I don't know what you're talking about. If that goes down, if it goes down hard.
Yeah, anything you're talking about, pimps and hoes and something getting sticky, I'm going to say gross because chances are I'm right.
Now,
That's
what's
all I'm
fascinating
saying.
is you don't get these kind of results with ChatGPT. This is not a plug for Flow GPT, but it is one of the couple of GPTs out there. Another one's called Freedom GPT and Flow GPT that have uncensored GPTs. The only problem is they do not have the secret sauce of ChatGPT 4.0. They're using GPT 3.5, which is clearly less sophisticated and less humorous and entertaining than ChatGPT 4, which I would say has a little bit of a soul to it. But going
Okay.
back to this, I like this idea. I think this goes back to something we were talking about the other day. I think you said Kentucky Fried Movie, where there's a pimp.
They had a contest called Pimp of the Year contest, and they had to perform all various pimp tasks against one another. And one
Was
of
that in the
them,
movie?
it was in the movie, and one of them was I think it was the performance piece of it. Kind of like Miss America, where someone goes up there and performs, I don't know, baton swirling or singing or magic or self defense or some kind of an act. So this one pimp went up there and he decided to read poetry, and that's where his poem was entitled.
Oh,
His poem is entitled "The Bitch Better Have My Money."
yeah, got it. So they could react. They can that'd be hilarious. Imagine that there was a puppet, and it was reenacting that scene from the Kentucky Fried Movie. That could be really funny.
That would be good. Maybe you have like a pimp slapping contest, or you get
Well,
to
there,
you, or maybe you get to see how a person handles when the bitch is lying to him. Who gets to collect most of the money?
well, remember these puppets. These are puppets that are going to be slapping each other.
I understand.
Yeah, because it's a puppet show. Okay.
Gotcha.
But this topic is not going down the way that I thought it would.
You ain't lying.
Jeez. Okay. Let's just hammer through this. We gotta bang through these topics.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
bang away.
Okay. Prostitutes Unleashed, an edgy and provocative puppet show that features life-size puppets. Look, the GPT was so cheap, it basically is giving us a rehash of an earlier one. It couldn't even come up with any new clever ideas.
Oh,
And
boy.
this might be. Let's see. The audience can interact by voting on which puppets they want to see next, or even controlling their actions. So I think we'll do the next one. Look at this. I'm gonna really pay money for a GPT that after already 4 suggestions on a 5th one, it's already starting to rehash. That sounds like I'm getting ripped off. Of course, this was.
Are you saying that this wasn't a red flag for you to have this topic at all in our podcast when even the ChatGPT couldn't find 5 fucking things to be interesting? And
ChatGPT
unique?
is woke, so they basically came up with glitter and grit.
But the woke stuff is usually like the big perverts, and they allow all of this crazy shit. You would think it would have thought of like I don't know, cyborg prostitutes, or how about a vagina capacity dick stuffing contest. How many cocks can you fit inside of a pussy? Or like the largest object, or like I'm just saying that there's a ton of stuff I can think of off the top of my head.
Shadow banned. This show's getting shadow banned.
I'm just saying. The only sorry folks at home. I'm just mentioning is that there's a number of things it could have said, and the fact that it didn't Maybe you
There
should
are
have thought
things
of
that we're
this as
not
a red
saying that could have
flag.
been said. There are things that are not saying that could have been said where we could just said we could have gone to Urban Dictionary and just strung together a bunch of random words from there that would have been more interesting. You know.
I see. I'm going to have to get more involved in the story selections on the show. You've made that abundantly clear, and so if there's a
It's a
if there
cry for help.
if,
It's a
right,
cry for
if
help.
there's an opportunity there, I think we've seen it
It's a cry for help.
for
Help.
sure. No worries.
No,
Message received.
but let's go. Let's move on to the next one, number 6.
All right.
Puppet Party at the Parlor. I like. First of all, I like things. I like titles that have the same letter in all the words. It always has a fun ring. Puppet Party at the Parlor, and it actually did it for the next one as well when we get to that. But actually, it did it for all of these, I think, basically. But so that's clever in its own way. A burlesque style puppet show combines elements of striptease and puppetry. The performance could take place in a dimly lit parlor where the audience is encouraged to tip the performance for more explicit acts. Oh man.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like OnlyFans, where
Yeah.
the more you
Yeah,
the
live
more you
OnlyFans.
pay, the more they're willing to do.
This is not kid friendly.
No, but which one of our shows has been kid friendly? This is this is us ho number 4 podcast. So
Yeah, I don't know. We have to get frightened. Why are we talking so much about the hoes and the prostitutes? Why is this the road that you want to travel down and do a show about puppets who are prostitutes and they commit lewd acts? Give us your psyche as you have various issues from your childhood.
seriously. Yeah, I couldn't tell you the reasoning why we've landed on hose, but just for those of you at home, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be coming to an end on the hoedown of hose shows.
You know something? I've never even met a hoe. Maybe indirectly on the street. And when I mean a hoe, I mean a real hoe. I mean not a fake hoe. But
You mean someone who's more honest about the fact that she's going to take money from you from sex?
I mean someone who basically says they're on the street and they're trying to hand you their square and here put in your credit card money.
Well, they are more honest about things. You don't pay a person for the act; you pay for them to leave.
Actually, I take that back. I remember when we'll have to do this in a different show, which is one of the pinnacle stories. I remember when I was young and I was by Times Square. And I happened to be walking around with some friends, and it was just crazy seeing when Times Square wasn't cleaned up of how degenerate it was. Incredible back in the we'll say decades ago, even though we look young and beautiful. But so I take that back. But in any case, this is an interesting idea. You could actually turn, how they have these mini puppet theaters. You could turn your mini puppet theater into a dimly lit parlor where it actually looks like a brothel. Or not.
Puppet brothel. Yeah, I as much as I'd love to hear more about your story escapade in Times Square, I'm gonna have to take a pass on it and have to push back on the next hoe conversation we have.
Okay, so let's go with 6.69.
All right.
This one is called Puppet Perversions on the Strip. A raunchy, explicit puppet show that pushes the boundaries of taste and decency, like the rest of these haven't push the bounds of taste and decency. They're all pretty actually tame, but they are all pretty risque. The performance could feature again. Look, it could feature life-size puppets engaging in a variety of acts, with the audience being able to interact by controlling the actions via remote control. What is this? Gives the same thing over and over again. This is not a good selling point for GPT. Flow GPT. If you're gonna be censored, then you gotta step up your game.
Did you ever think that maybe the topic was maxed out on it being so specific? I mean, how many fucking variations can you have on a puppet pimpin' porn or whatever parameters you put in?
I could think of 500.
You could.
Yeah.
So why are we talking about these 6 shitty ones?
I guess because in retrospect, when I see this topic, in retrospect, I'm actually not too happy with it. I'll be honest.
I get it. You know what? They're not all going to be home runs, and we're just going to sometimes have to chalk it up as a learning experience.
This is the last this is
the
last. This is episode number 12. This is the last in the whole series.
Amen.
But there is something positive. I want to go in. If the listener, if our viewers have made it this far, I think there is important to get out of this that I said earlier, is that these GPTs are very powerful idea creation engines. You just have to seed it with your own creativity to begin with. So even though I think this is a weird and wacky topic, I think there is some value to get out of it.
Okay. I'll yeah, I'll have to
And I'll leave it
meditate
to
on
the.
that one.
We'll have to meditate on that one. And you know, I I'll tell you, there's one different topic. I want to we can say whatever we want, on these, because who's listening anyways? Well,
Well,
that's really negative. But
this
I
this is what giving up looks like, folks. For those of you folks at home who don't recognize what that is,
no, it's not giving
it's
up.
it's kind of like a
It's not
woman
giving
who's
up. It's just
wearing
being
flip
unleashed.
flops at
It's
a
being unhinged.
restaurant on a Saturday night.
It's
That's
just
what
being
giving
unhinged.
up
Unleashed.
looks
I
like.
do want to talk about something in the news that was bothersome today.
All right, go
I
for
want
it.
to talk about something in the news that was bothersome today. Instead of having another live show about, maybe we should have a live show about it. And that is, you know, even if someone is not a Christian, I'll admit that I'm a Jew. Is that I think what Biden did today,
Could you?
professing to be a Christian, with Matt Walsh, Biden is a demon. Basically, on a holy holiday for our Christian, our Christian of humanity out there, to have this as the trans day of
Visibility or
of
something,
visibility, whatever it is,
whatever they
um,
called it, I forgot.
is sacrilegious, and
Let's face it. This
shame on him.
Yes, and this was done by design. We know that. This is a because keep in mind is that transgenderism is also a war on religion. Let's face it, it
Yeah,
is.
I know the topic is something else, but I just had to say that because I think it's just I think the reason I brought that up, I think it's even more perverse than anything that we discussed in this topic today. To do that as a person of so-called faith and as a Christian is just, and also what they did with the Easter eggs, they made the Easter eggs all secular when it is clearly tied to a religious element of the Easter holiday. Did you see that? They also said that kids, they couldn't even paint religious themes on their Easter eggs on the
I
White
saw.
House.
I saw that.
This is mad. This is madness. Even if you're not a Christian, we have to have allyship with our
Other
fellow
God-fearing
religionists.
people. Other God-fearing
This is
people.
madness. This is
Yes.
and I bring that up because it's more disgusting and perverted than any silliness that we were talking about in this show today.
I totally agree. We have gone full circle from Sin City all the way to
We're just
talking about
making
the
some silly
absurdity.
jokes. We're just making some
Yeah,
silly jokes with silly topics.
I
But
know.
we're not affecting lives, pretending to be something that we're not. Pretending to be some super holy religious person like Biden said he's a good Christian, and then at the same time beating his own people down.
Well,
Not cool.
he's clearly full of shit. He is a
And
well-known.
senility, and full of senility.
Yes, our dementia in chief is a well-known liar. For 30 years, he's been making claims that he's been fact-checked on since the 80s, where he said he was in the top of his law school and he has 3 degrees and this and this.
The
I mean, he's
yeah.
been fact-checked so many times. He's the new modern-day Pinocchio. The only thing
The
he doesn't
atheists,
have is a 20-inch nose. That's the only thing he doesn't have.
the atheists that are behind him and driving the policy, they should be brought out. They need to be brought out into the light. Whoever is really driving the show there. They're driving the real puppet show. This is the fake puppet show. The real puppet show is
Agreed.
who's pulling his strings.
Right.
The secularists and the atheists that are pulling his strings.
That is true. He is the modern day puppet for sure. I mean, the guy doesn't know what he had for breakfast, and chances are he doesn't tie his own shoes, or who knows. He's definitely he's toast. Everyone knows that.
And I know we had to go to a different topic because this one just it basically went limp.
That's all right. Life is a learning experience. Interesting choice of words. It definitely went soft, and that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes we're
Sometimes
gonna
you
have
just
a
have to
topic
put.
that doesn't
Sometimes you have
pan
to put the
out.
yogurt. Sometimes you have to put the yogurt in the freezer to harden it up.
Yeah, I guess so. Keep heading down that tunnel there. Keep dipping the stick down that
Hmm.
dipping the wick down that hole.
This is what happens when you have a limited vocabulary.
I guess so.
Anything else that you would like to discuss, my brother Big Dog D?
Not as of today. I hope you're having fun in Sin City. You seem to feel like a sinner today with your
What's
porn
funny
puppet.
is I'm probably not even going to put $1 in a slot machine. I've been to Vegas maybe, I don't know, maybe a dozen times over the last 10 years or so. And I don't think I put any money in any of the machines.
I'm not a big gambler myself. I mean, it is fun to win, but I hate losing so much that I'd rather
Yeah, I
not
like my
play.
money. I
Yeah,
like the money.
that's
I
to
like,
each his own.
I,
Some people find it entertaining, and more power to them. It's just not my thing.
I hear you. And on that note, we're going to keep it raw, real, relevant, and random. Bump. Signing out. It's MJ and
The Big Dog D.
the Big Dog D. Peace out.